From coffee to shampoo to hand sanitizer, First Stop Shop is your one-stop, conveniently located at the nearest Delta Petroleum gas station.
Delta Petroleum, serving the Caribbean.
We are programming for today, Tuesday, 7th May. Good morning. This is THG News Today with Mervyn Hanley. The news today is sponsored by Carl & Sons on St. Martin, Delta Petroleum, and Defeasers on Nevis. If you have not as yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, this is the perfect time to do so. We ask and encourage you to please subscribe. Thank you so much in advance for that. It was a long holiday weekend for us here at THG. Some islands celebrated Labor Day yesterday, so we decided that, hey, guess what? We're going to be on holiday too. So we took the day off to, what did I do yesterday? To relax. We took the day off to relax and to regroup, and we're back here with you this morning. But a lot happened over the weekend while we were out, and we won't be able to get to all the major news stories this morning, obviously. But I want to share this horrifying story out of Jamaica. And I mean, what kind of sick, demented brain does that to an old person, or to anyone for that matter? But let me read this story for you. The police in St. Anne are probing a case of murder and arson in relation to the death of an 80-year-old woman, 80 years, in Spring Garden in Bamboo last week. The police report that about 6:15 p.m., fire was seen coming from Barrett's house by her granddaughter, who lives next door. An alarm was raised and the police and the fire department were called. Residents, including Barrett's granddaughter, tried to extinguish the blaze. Firefighters who arrived on the scene conducted a cooling down operation. The police say the damaged house was checked and the elderly woman's body was seen in the dining room, laying on its back, with both hands tied above her head and an orange-colored electrical wire and her feet tied with the same wire. They further also say that she also had what appeared to be female clothing tied to her hand over her face and feet. Who could have done this? What a sick person. Who could have done this to an 80-year-old woman? Now, just imagine, how many of you have an 80-year-old grandmother or mother? Just imagine that I can't even imagine it because it makes me sick. It grates my heart. These people are sick people out there. And you're going to do this to this old woman? What could she have possibly done? And from what I read a few articles, and this woman was still out selling her vegetables and stuff like that. So what could she have done? Or what got into you to perform such a brutal act on this old woman or anybody? Because if you tie up a young person, I mean, that is much less an old woman, 80 years old. I refuse to believe, as a man of faith and a believer in Christ, I refuse to believe that maybe there is one heaven, but I refuse to believe that folks who are going to hell, that there is one hell. I refuse to believe that. There is absolutely no way that someone who lied, for example, let's say lies can take you to hell. Let's say a lie can take you to hell. So you're telling me that John Doe is going to hell for a lie, and Bravo over here, Johnny Bravo over here, is going to the same hell, the same spot for tying up a woman, 80 years old, tying up her hands, tying up her feet, and then set her on fire? And they're going to the same hell? Not a thing or so. No. Yes, I know you all will tell me read my Bible and I'll find out. Yes, that's it. I don't believe that. I'm not convinced. Can't be the same hell. It just cannot. However, the police, they are carrying out their investigations and on this matter, and that's from the St. Anne's Bay Criminal Investigating Branch. So we'll follow this story and see what happens. And speaking of sick people, there is someone or a group of criminals who have been sending emails to governments and corporations, especially to islands who are a part of the British overseas territories, sending bomb threats to the airports, And I read an email just before I came on the air where they're stating that unless these people from the US or wherever they're from, who were arrested in the Turks and Caicos Islands for ammunitions and all of that. If they're not released, or this is not resolved by June, or whatever the case may be, they'll begin to assassinate CARICOM leaders, and they'll begin to blow up this places and that place, and not only from British overseas territories, but also other Caribbean islands. Oh my God. However, Sunday, the Virgin Islands News Online, that's based in Tortola, they received an email from of course, a fake name with foreign language at the bottom of the name, which appears to be from Eastern Europe. And the caption of the email was, Terence Bilatsum International Airport will be bombed today. That was Sunday. And of course, the Virgin Islands News Online, they took the threat as a credible one. I mean, who wouldn't? And they passed on the information to the National Security Council, and that includes the Commissioner of Police, Mark Collins, and the Premier, that's the Honorable Natalia Wheatley, and they also passed it on to the Minister of Communication and Works, Honorable Kai Reimer, who's also responsible for the airport. And so the airport there in BVI, Beef Island, was temporarily closed until all precautionary measures and safety measures were carried out. And then just after 7:30 p.m. on Sunday, flights were able to land and take off again. But before that, in the Turks and Caicos Islands, in the last week of April, there were a number of bomb threats going around the Turks and Caicos Islands, including the airport. But then it did not stop there. Then on Monday, early Monday morning, passengers were forced off a British Airways flight at Bermuda's airport. After a bomb threat, the Bermuda Police Service said that the facility was later declared safe. But a whole chaos and confusion basically took place regarding this bomb threat. And from a spokeswoman from Skyport Authority, it says at approximately 9 p.m., L.F. Wade International Airport received a bomb threat sent to the airport offices via email threatening the terminal and British Airways Flight 158, which was due to depart for London Heathrow. This prompted an immediate evacuation of the terminal building, while the British Airways Boeing 777 aircraft was repositioned to a remote airfield location where passengers safely deplaned. Flight 158 was subsequently cancelled, and that airport reopened after they did their checks. And then it did not stop there. It was Anguilla's turn. From Anguilla, yesterday at just after 11 o'clock, I believe it was, a press release came out, a government advisory, and it states the Anguilla Air and Seaports Authority wishes to advise the public that operations at the Clayton J. Lloyd International Airport have been temporarily suspended. That was yesterday. Of course, things are back now to normal. But yesterday, a bomb threat was received by the Royal Anguilla Police Force, which has responded to the scene with all other emergency response units. And so these are sick people. And I hope that with the help of international feds, they are on this, and we can't take anything for granted because they are now threatening our Caribbean leaders. And who would have thought? I mean, we're living in a world now and at a time where things that just used to happen in the United States or in these countries far away, they're happening right now in our backyard. Threats like these. And look what's taking place right there when we have Guyana and Venezuela. That is a situation we have to pay close attention to. And it's all happening. All these things are happening in our neighboring islands. It's just a time to, I don't know. It's just crazy. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, we continue to follow viewers and listeners what took place there in Barbados on Sunday night. Fire personnel were on the scene battling an intense blaze in Wellington Street. Of course, the video footage that you're looking at, we have to credit Winston Boyce and say thank you to him for this footage. I understand 7 or 8 homes were destroyed from fire. Of course, this is now under investigation by the police. They have not determined yet whether or not this was just an accident or it was arson. So we'll continue to follow the story there in Barbados. But we continue to monitor the happenings around the Caribbean islands. Lots happening. It's good that I can report this to you so that you can be kept in the loop. But at the same time, I do not find it. I hate to wake up at mornings or even when I'm preparing at nights or in the afternoons to read these or to go over these news stories to present to you. I am not happy doing it at all. But it's a part of the job, and it is just troubling what is taking place around the Caribbean islands. The news, of course, was brought with the kind compliments of Carl and Sons on St. Martin, Feezes on Nevis, and Delta Petroleum. Do join me again tomorrow morning, God's willing, at 6 o'clock for a similar presentation. And remember again, folks, to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not done so already. My name is Mervyn Hanley. Have yourselves a blessed day.
Carl & Sons have been serving the people of St. Martin for over 40 years. And the food and service get better and better. From early morning, customers flock to the bakery for their favorite sandwiches, cakes, pastries, you name it. First thing at mornings and last thing at afternoons, folks rush to Carl & Sons for simply the best. There are two locations, Coal Bay and on the Pontville. In Coal Bay, the opening hours are Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. On Saturdays, 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. And on Sundays, 6:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. and 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Opening hours on the Pontville, Monday to Friday, 6:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, 6:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. We also cater for weddings, parties, special events, whatever the occasion. It's Carl & Sons. Our staff, we are always happy to serve you. Call us today, the Coal Bay location, 721-544-2462. That's 721-544-2462. Or in Phillipsburg, 721-543-1059. That's 721-543-1059. It's Carl & Sons Bakery. We are here to serve you. Nevis, satisfy your sweet tooth at Feezes, the cozy spot in Charlestown, known for its mouth-watering ice cream and dal parade. We are open Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Come in and sample our patties, sandwiches, air-fried wings with fries, hot dogs, rotis, and now our famous smoothies, in all flavors of course. And don't forget to try the famous bus-up shut and saltfish. It's Feezes, located at the entrance to the Cotton Ginnery Mall in Charlestown, Nevis. They're also available by phone, so place your order by calling 1-869-665-2458. Don't ask about the rest, just try the best.